Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have any audio for this? Because I never can tell until somebody tells me, and then I start talking and talking to myself. Okay, great. Thank you. This is Marilyn, and it is the noon edition of Welcome to My World. This is January the 13th, which is a Wednesday, crude oil inventory day. Wow. There's been a couple things I'll try and show you. The indices have all sold off. It looked like they might be trying to stop that now, but this is the lunchtime time, Eastern time. So we'll have to see what's going to happen in the afternoon. Bonds, I know I have shown you yesterday, I think, and a couple times. Bonds this morning, whereas the couple times that I've shown my bond chart, let me get it over here for you, because this is a great example of when not to trade bonds. This whole morning up until just a little bit ago, this whole morning is just nothing but absolute chop. And all this, the trendar is telling you it's just chop, and this is basically a C's chart, but it's just absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, especially with bonds, this is untradeable. So don't think that we get those nice trends like I showed you before, because we don't. Excuse me. When those happen, they're great, but when they don't, excuse me. I'm sorry about all this noise. If you hear all the noise in the background, it's the lawnmower or something outside. Anyway, this morning with the crude oil inventory, I wanted to show you something that, let's see, it was very apparent on this iZone chart. The inventory report comes out right at 10:30. So what we notice here is at 10:30, right about here, the market was getting ready for that report. But here's 10:30. Over here, however many bars that is 10:30. Over here is 10:31 and 10:32. So this is in 2 minutes. This moved from where these arrows are all the way over to here, which is why we say be very careful about putting an order in ahead of that news unless you have a pretty strong assumption of which direction it might be going, because that can happen so fast. And that's another great spot to remember: do not chase the bus. The bus driver can get real ornery if you do that. So we have had gold in a nice move up today, and the dollar is moving down, as the Canadian dollar is also, and the Aussie dollar. There will be news coming out tonight, I think, on the Aussie. So if you're interested in that timeline, check the news tab on the website, because those are great. We've got the VIX trading right now. It's headed back up a little bit from this morning at 2310. But these indices are all going. We'll see. The TF has been a little bit a bit of a laggard today. Sometimes the TF, more frequently than not, it will lead the other three, but the ES and the NQ were pretty strong. I don't know how many people in here trade the ES. I do not recommend that for a beginning trader because it can take a very long time. That's the most heavily traded, most liquid uh, of any of the futures. And if you're trading that in futures and you're new to trading futures, the problem sometimes is you're one of the little people with your 1 or 2 contracts, and the big people have 135 contract orders. So guess who gets filled at the best prices? And guess who can get out when they want to? And it's kind of puts you at the end of the line for the bus. So you might give that some consideration. The NQ and YM make great instruments if you're trying to learn how to trade futures, because they're $5 a tick, and you can make some nice money. And unless you really make a mistake, like put a sell order when you meant to put in a buy order, and the reason we all know about that is because we've all done that. That's how we learn things, is to do it wrong. You learn from your mistakes, so you don't keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. Anyway, let's see. We have got one thing that might be of interest to some people. At a couple minutes after 1, I think it's 5 minutes after 1. No, 1:01. 1 minute after 1 is the 10-year bond auction. And the symbol for that futures is ZN. The 30-year is ZB and the 10-year is ZN. So, Darby, the spreads are a whole different animal. I'm being asked if I recommend YM over ES for the spreads. There, you don't have to worry about it. It's the futures. The futures have major big money trades being made in these markets. The spreads on the NADEX is a whole different animal. So that it really doesn't matter whichever one you can find on those spreads, where you can find the best spread pricing and proximity that you want for your assumption of direction and your strategy, if you're doing a neutral strategy or a directional strategy on it. So let's see, we have another question. Trading live with NT, and I primarily trade TF. Does a $5 a month exchange fee give me TF data? You should get the indices data all the same, Larry. What I would do is call the broker and verify that, because they have the final say over. Let them know exactly what you're trying to do. And since I'm mentioning calling the brokerage, when you have a question like this trading question about the data fees and the commission fees or whatever it is, be sure you do not get the trade desk, because the trade desk, those guys are really busy, and they're dealing with basically what they are is firemen. And so they're dealing with people's potential fires, like I just lost the internet and I have 10 contracts out for this and blah, blah, blah. So when it's an administrative type of a question, make sure you get to customer service and don't tie up time explaining your customer service problem to the trading desk, because you become a very unpopular person quite quickly, and we don't want that. I don't see too many other things. These indices have just put in a really nice move right ahead of the lunch hour. So they may chop around a little bit until 1 or 1:30ish. There are many times really good trades going into the close with those indices also. tomorrow morning we're going to have a lot of economic news. So be sure before you put on any trades tomorrow morning, be sure that you have checked what the news is. So you know exactly what time news might affect whatever market it is that you normally trade. If you are a crude oil trader, you may have noticed these every week there's these big magenta dotted lines across here. Those are really major magnets. And today, the crude oil bus driver has been in love with this 3060 price level. He's been back and forth across that 3060 level, I don't know, many times and hovered around there. So what that tells us is there's been a lot of passengers want on and off the bus right at that 3060. And until he gets all those passengers taken care of, we'll just have to wait and see if crude oil is going to go north or south of this 3060, but that is a significant price. And when you're trading, this is one of the things that at least I always try to ask myself is, okay, I want to know what the bus driver knows so I can at least make an educated decision about where he might be driving his bus I mean, it's a business. It's a business. He's going to go where the customers are. So where that bus driver has had a lot of passengers, i.e. contracts being bought or sold, he'll go there and check that spot several times. I think that's about all I have. This is a really good time to be asking questions because the morning trading has pretty much come to a conclusion and everybody's getting some lunch and the bus drivers are getting some lunch and the market makers and the powers that be that move the markets also. So when you have questions that you want to get addressed, this noon time is a good time to be doing that. So this has been my view from my world in Apex land, brought to you by Apex Investing. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks.